has been a long time since you and I have seen each other. In fact, the last time I saw you actually was at the last event, which I'm pointing at, that we're going to talk about, that I was there at. And I do believe it was at the Old Mills restaurant, or do I call it a restaurant?
Old Mill Tour.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It was there where this great event was happening with these amazing people and for a great cause. First, I want to ask you, how are you doing? And how's the Fight Club going?
Yeah, it's a loaded question. Doing great. The fight team has been waiting. So five of the fighters from 2020 who were booked to fight in 2020 have held on, and we have five new fighters to kind of complete the team. But yeah, it's been since 2019 that I've seen you, Rudy. It's been 4 years since our last event, and we are burning and ready to get going. We cannot wait to get in the ring. We cannot wait to start getting the promo going, which is really, this is my first media interview in 4 years. Yeah, you're my first, and it's been a journey to say the least, but it's been an extended journey for a lot of the fighters who've been waiting for the 4 years.
Okay, let's get right into it. What this is called and what it is about.
So the Fight to End Cancer is it's a movement, it's an event, it's multiple events, and it's also something that every single one of us has a story about. So we actually have something called the Fight to End Cancer story, where people share their stories from around the world, because to me, the Fight to End Cancer means something that's very personal, and I started it for a very personal reason. To you, it might mean, someone in your family that could be fighting, or someone yourself fighting cancer. Each one of our fighters, 10 of our fighters, it means something very different. And, for example, one of our fighters is celebrating his dad's birthday. He lost his dad 6 years ago to brain cancer, and his birthday is on May 27th, the day of our actual gala event. So there's so many different reasons, and we've got some sponsors. Even every single sponsor who makes the Fight to End Cancer possible, the gala possible, is fighting their own fight as well. One of them is Vianney Estates, for example. It's a wine in Niagara region who lost their father to cancer and continues the legacy through the sales of their wine. So everyone has their own fight, and it's not just the event; it's a movement.
This is one of the big reasons why I love to support this. Of course, we had talked about this. I lost my brother several years ago to throat cancer. So this is so important. How did you come up with this and put this together? Because this is an amazing thing, because we're going to talk about these folks who are behind me and why they're part of all of this. But why did you put this all together personally?
Yeah, it was actually supposed to be a one-off event. I put it together because I had a friend of mine who was fighting cancer, a family friend. And when, I sat down with her, she was 9 years into her battle, and asked her, what can I do to help you? Because I just felt really helpless. I think that actually that's the main theme. A lot of people who are on the sidelines trying to help somebody who's fighting cancer, or trying to be there or support someone who's fighting cancer, whether it's a family member, your brother, or whether it's somebody, a close friend, or whether it's just trying to support the community, you feel a little bit helpless because it's not sometimes your fights. Even when it is your fight, you feel helpless because you're relying on the system to save you. In this person's case, she was the first time that I'd ever been introduced to the idea that the government here, I thought that OHIP covered everything. So in Ontario, I thought that OHIP covered the price of, or the cost of, all of the treatments. What I found out with cancer, like anything, cancer, as it's growing, it's evolving, and in your own body, it changes. Therefore, the treatments have to change. So if it's not a treatment that's been certified by the government, or officially released by the hospitals or by the research, you're actually looking at having to pay for it. I had no idea. So watching her struggle through the actual fight, and then watching her fight through trying to find treatments and different ways to fight this battle, I was like, oh my gosh, what can I do? And she said, you know what, just do what you do. Just, keep supporting me. And so I thought, okay, what can I do to help maybe pay for some of the price of the drugs? How can I help support that? So that's where the idea of Fight to End Cancer came. I wanted to fight to end her cancer and raise funds. But then I didn't realize, as you start asking people to join your fight, people are joining because they also want to fight, and they want to fight for their reasons. They want to fight for their families. And so what ended up happening was I started it for this one individual, and what it became was everybody else's fight, which is beautiful. And while she was able to make it out to the first event in 2012, by 2013 she passed away from what had started as breast cancer. But at the same time, her legacy goes on, and we will continue to honor her and all the other people now, thousands, if not millions, that have been somehow impacted by the work we're doing. And it's definitely something that started off as mine and now has become everybody else's. So it started as a kind of one-off, and then I realized I can't just stop here. I can't just do one event that's in honor of one person. It's got to be something that is very inclusive of the entire community.
So how are these folks involved? And I love how they all come together, because there's a sort of rule to be part of this. Explain all that, please.
Yeah, so the people behind you are 10 fighters, and then also I'm on the far right of the picture with Virgil, the head fight team coach. But 10 of those individuals, all 10 of those individuals are fighting for their own reason, but they're literally stepping into the ring and they're going to be fighting in a sanctioned boxing match. For me, the sanctioned boxing match part of it matters a lot because of my involvement with international boxing. I'm an international referee and judge. I want to make sure that I also represent boxing in a capacity that people that we're proud of and showcases the sport, because it's not fighting. I know we're using the word, we're fighting to end cancer, but we're not fighting each other. We're fighting with each other against one individual cause. And our goal is to end cancer in our lifetime. So those individuals five of them have been training for, I guess, upwards of 3.5 years now, waiting for this event. The other,
wow,
yeah, because some of them were selected in 2019 for the 2020 event, and then they've been holding on for this past 4 years to come.
Okay, what's usually the time period they have to train?
To train. So a lot of them they usually start early. So before they're selected for the team, some of them start with the intention of fighting, but they don't necessarily get selected. We have 100 people will try out for the event. And then out of the 100 people, we select 10 boxers. And then from the 10 boxers, they don't get selected until November of the year before. So typically in November of 2022, we would have said, okay, you, 10 of you are fighting in 2023. And then they start in a very intensive training process for January through May, basically, until their main event on May 27th. But at the same time, the main thing is that we match them fairly and give them all the same training so that they have the same opportunity to win. We don't want to have someone matched with, an MMA fighter or a boxer who's fought 100 fights and then is facing off against someone who has nothing. So one of the main criteria for the corporate fighting team is that they've never boxed before or done any other martial arts.
It's an amazing thing, because I had the chance to actually watch the fights, and it's really a beautiful thing. And when I say that, it's because before the fights, the fighters, our warriors, they get to do a vignette video and talk about whatever experience or whatever has brought them to the ring. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, they all have their own individual stories, and they're all so independently such incredible fight stories that we feature all of them. While we have something called main event, because it's the last fight of the night, we have co-main event. Actually, the main event and the co-main event of the night are two of the original matches that we had from the very first from back in 2020. But realistically, every single one of them are a main event in themselves. Their families are ringside. The people they're fighting for are either ringside or they're being, honored in some capacity by these fighters. So they all have incredible stories. I've mentioned the one who has a story of his dad who he's fighting for on May 27th. And that's his dad's birthday. And he lost his dad about 6 years ago to brain cancer. There's, a few other ones that have family members that are actually coming or friends that are coming who they're fighting for. And I think that's such an incredible thing that's so independently special for each one of the fighters. And it's just, we actually do feature all of them as kind of these little mini celebrities, because that's what they really are in the fight to end cancer.
They're warriors, because again, for folks who, they've got the pads on their heads and they're very well protected when they come out. But let's face it, they're going into a ring in front of an audience, a supportive audience. But after everything, the bell goes, it's this person versus this person. They are, all of them, extremely brave, because I can only imagine the butterflies that are going through them as they're getting ready to step into the ring. How do you guys help them cope with that? Physically, I understand, but emotionally, what is that like?
So it's kind of, you're trying to draw the comparison when we say, okay, you're going to step into the ring and fight, this incredible achievement it's going to be when they finally, drop the gloves after the fight is over. But it's supposed to in some way also kind of signify a fight that someone's going through with cancer. Now, obviously it's nowhere close to it. However, deciding to step into the ring for a boxing match, there's a lot, I can tell you this, Rudy, from many people walking. I own Kingsway Boxing as well, which we get hundreds of people every year walking in saying, I want to fight. And the number of people who say they want to fight versus the actual number who end up taking it that direction and that distance to actually step into the ring and hear that first bell ring and hear the last bell ring, not very many. So for these 10 fighters, I mean, we've at this point, by the end of this event, we will have had 120 boxers fight in the fight to end cancer. And yeah, it's incredible. And just the fact that they've committed and they've decided to, go through the process and trust the process. It's, an emotional, it's a physical, it's definitely a mental challenge. And they're sticking with it, and some of them longer than others, but it is a big deal. So we help them on the level. I mean, Virgil is not just a corporate fight team coach, he's a head fight team coach for our amateur competitive team as well. Every step along the way is based on, what does it do? What do you have to do? And how do you have to be ready? Not just technically, but mentally to get into the ring by fight night. So it's a long process. We could definitely use probably some more support when it comes to having some, typically you have a fight psychologist, a psychologist who works with the fighters. That's, I'm used to working at the higher levels, at the international levels, where it's mandatory. You wouldn't send a fighter into, another country without having them make sure they've got those, I guess, assets. But we try to work along. I guess we are the psychologists right now. We're the nutritionists. We're the hug at the end of the night, after a hard day's training. But at the end of the day, they're going to be ready, and they're already, I can tell you right now, a month out, they are ready to go.
Wait. Oh, we got to talk about fight night. Where is it going to be happening? What day? And what exactly is going to be happening? Because I know when I went, it was one of the classiest events I've ever been to. It's so cool.
Yeah, so the Old Mill Toronto is one of our sponsors. We couldn't do it without them. They make it possible, not just financially, but even logistically. We take over the entire venue. I think that there's been one time where they might have a, I don't know, some sort of a wedding happening there. But they basically give us the entire venue, and it's going to be happening on May 27th at the Old Mill Toronto in Etobicoke. And it's going to be a huge event. It's going to be a gala, and it's going to be a event extraordinaire, and about, I'd say, 600 people coming as guests, and we've got 200 volunteers. It's going to be a night for sure.
It definitely is. I'm just curious. You were talking about the main event and the originals. I cannot remember his name. He's bald and he's built like a Tasmanian devil. I'm wondering if he's there, and I can't think of his name right now.
Bald, built like a Tasmanian devil. He fought in one of the events before.
He definitely fought the one I was at. He was the main event, and he's just I think he's undefeated too. This guy is just tough as nails.
I'm trying to think if it was the year 2019 potentially.
Yes. Yeah.
He might not be there again, but I'm guessing we've had so many guys go through, and it's been so long. They're all alumni, so they're all going to be involved with the event in some capacity. They'll probably be at Media Day, which I hope to see you there at as well. It'll be Media Day. Oh, so that's another event kind of leading up. It's their face-off. So the unofficial Media Day weigh-ins, we invite the families, the media, and the community to come check it out. It's going to be at the Elmo Combo on May 18th. So perfect. All the people you're talking about, the guys who faced off in previous years, we invite them in as well as the alumni to kind of hype everybody up. And we do full on face off. So all in good fun. They're all facing off and trying to, trash talk each other in the best way possible. But it'll be a lot of fun. That's the day that they get to have fun, because by fight night, they have to be completely focused until they actually fight.
I just hope he's there, because like I said, he's a brick house, tough as nails. They're all tough as nails. And, yeah, giving back in such a special way too, I think is incredible. And I think what you're doing and your family of boxers, again, I think it's an incredible thing. So one more time, remind everybody, when is the big fight night happening, and where do we go to get tickets for this? Because I know this is something tickets sell out real fast.
Yeah, I would say we're actually pretty much sold out, but go to our website, fighttoendcancer.com. If you check out our homepage even, or just if you go under events, We have a number of events. I think we've got about 6 events leading up to this event. Some of them are free. Other ones are like a nominal amount, maybe $20. And all of it goes, 100% of it goes to the Princess Margaret Cancer Foundation. And not only just to the foundation, but specifically to the research, the GTX research program within the Princess Margaret, where we're actually watching them create the treatments and the research that we're watching implemented to our patients, to our friends, our families. So fighttancancer.com. May 27th is the big gala night. Come out and support and watch the face-offs. That's another show in itself. A lot of fun at the Elmo Combo on May 18th. Fighttancancer.com has all the tickets, all the information, and you can reach out directly. Any email comes to me. So if you want to get involved and start your own event, that's kind of what we do as ambassador events throughout the year.
Cannot wait. Congratulations. Thank you so much.
Thank
I'll see you at
you.
the Elmo Combo, and I'll see you at the Old Mill. Cannot wait. Thanks again.
Thanks, Rudy.